Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really getting into the weeds on agency commissions, specifically for the BoloUp platform.
Yeah, it's a topic that comes up a lot.
Definitely. We've got their official agency policy documents and also a pretty detailed commission rate sheet to work from.
Right, and folks can find links to those if they want to, follow along or dig deeper themselves. They'll be in the description.
Perfect. So our mission today is basically to figure out how these agencies actually make money. Not just from the hosts they manage directly, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But also how the whole sub-agency structure plays into it. It's built to, encourage growth, bringing more people in.
Okay. And it seems like there are a few layers to peel back here.
There are. We'll break down the main mechanics, maybe walk through an example they provide, which is helpful.
Good idea.
And then we'll look at the special perks for agencies running party rooms. That seems to be a key focus.
All right, let's dive in. Where should we start? Maybe with the most basic part. This basic commission from host.
Sounds good. So fundamentally, it's like this. You take the host's earnings, what they call host basic income.
Which is gifts and calls combined.
Correct. Gifts and calls. You take that total and you multiply it by a specific commission rate.
And that rate isn't fixed, right? That's where the spreadsheet comes in.
Exactly. That Google sheet lays out all the different rates. So yeah, host earns money, agency gets a slice based on that rate. Simple enough on the surface.
Seems straightforward, but then it gets more complex when you bring in the network aspect.
It does. That's where this idea of valid income comes into play. It's broader.
Okay, so what counts as valid income?
It's the sum of all the host basic income from your direct hosts, PLOS, the host basic income, from all the hosts in any sub-agencies you've invited.
Oh, okay, so it bundles everything together.
Right, and it even mentions adding the agency's own self-income, if that applies. This total valid income number is really important because it determines, certain commission tiers and calculations down the line.
Gotcha. It's the base for figuring out your overall standing, maybe.
Sort of, yeah. It sets the scale of your operation, basically.
The policy gives an example, doesn't it, to make this clearer?
It does, yeah. It uses agency A, B, C, and even D.
Right, so agency A invites B and C, and then B goes and invites D, so you get that cascading effect.
Exactly. And they give some big numbers, like agency A's hosts bring in 50 million, 30 million, 60 million.
Wow, okay. Hypothetical millions, but still.
Yeah, and agency B's hosts do 30 million and 5 million, and C's hosts total 60 million.
So for agency A, their valid income, that would be just their direct hosts added up, the 50, 30, and 60.
Based on how they define it initially, yes.
Yeah.
So 50 plus 30 plus 60, that's 140 million.
Okay, 140 million is agency A's valid income.
Now, the policy says agency A has a 16% commission rate, but then the example gets a little bit fuzzy, actually.
How so?
Well, it states agency A's direct host commission is 8 million, but if you just take the 140 million valid income and multiply it by 16%, you get 22.4 million, not 8 million.
Oh, right. That doesn't quite line up.
No. So it seems like maybe direct host commission in their example calculation might be based on something slightly different, or perhaps only a portion of that 140 million counts towards that specific 8 million figure. It's not perfectly clear just from this text.
Okay, so maybe the key point isn't the exact math on that number, but understanding that valid income is the big pool.
I think so. The principle is that your total activity level matters, but the way they calculate the commission from sub-agencies seems much clearer in the example.
Right, let's focus on that then. How do you earn from agency B if you're agency A?
Okay, so the rule is you take the sub-agency's total host basic income.
So for B, that was the 30 million plus 5 million. Oh wait, the example uses just 30 million for the calculation from B.
Good catch, yes. For calculating A's commission from B, they seem to use B's direct host income relevant to A, which is 30 million in this part of the example. You multiply that 30 million by the difference between agency A's rate and agency B's rate.
The difference, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, so A's rate is 16% and B's rate is 12%. The difference is 4%.
So 4% of B's 30 million.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which comes out to 1.2 million. And that matches their example number for A's commission from B.
Okay, that makes sense. So you're incentivized to have a higher rate than the agencies you bring in.
Precisely. It's not just about recruiting, it's about growing your own agency to get that better rate, which then lets you earn more from your network.
What about agency C then? Their income was 60 million.
Right. And their commission rate is 20%.
Ah, so higher than agency A's 16%.
Exactly. So the difference is 16% minus 20%, which is negative 4%.
Meaning A gets nothing from C.
Correct. The calculation results in 0 commission from Agency C for Agency A in this scenario, which again matches the example.
So it really highlights that rate difference is the key mechanism there.
Absolutely. So wrapping up their example, Agency A's total commission is that initial $8 million figure they gave for direct hosts.
The one that was a bit unclear how they got it.
Right, that one. Plus the $1.2 million from Agency B, plus the 0 from Agency C, for a total of $9.2 million.
Okay. So complex, but the sub-agency part seems driven by those rate differentials.
Definitely.
Now, what about these party room agency extra rewards? This sounds like a whole different layer of benefits.
It is. It seems specifically designed for agencies that focus on building those live party room environments.
And what's the main perk?
The big one is a much higher cut of normal gifts given inside those rooms. Normally, an agent gets like 65% share equivalent on those gifts.
So if someone gives $10 to a host, the host gets $6.50 worth, and the agent gets $50 worth in diamonds.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
But for these designated party room agencies, the agent share gets an extra 15% boost.
An extra 15% on top of the 65%.
Well, it increases the agent's portion effectively. The policy phrasing suggests the agent's share goes from 65% up to 80% of the value sent to the agent. Let's reread their example carefully. It says, $10 normal gifts to host gets $6.05, agent gets $1.05 diamonds. Then, party room agency agent gets extra 15% commission, means share increases from 65% to 80%. And then $10 sent to agent directly, agent gets $8 diamonds.
Ah, okay, so maybe it's simpler. If the money goes to the host gets $6.50, the agent gets $1.50. But if it goes directly to the agent in a party room context, they get $8 instead of the usual amount. The extra reward seems tied to direct agent gifting maybe, or does it boost the commission on host gifts too? The wording, share increases from 65% to 80% is a bit ambiguous there.
It is slightly ambiguous. It could mean the total pool available for agent commission on host gifts goes up, allowing the agent share to reach 80% of that pool, or it could mean, as you suggest, a specific higher rate, 80% for direct agent gifts in party rooms. The $10, $8 example strongly suggests the latter for direct gifts. The $10, $1 to $1.50 implies the host gift commission might remain standard unless explicitly stated otherwise.
Let's assume, for now, the clearest benefit is that $10 sent directly to the agent yields $8 for them in a party room agency, a significant bump. That alone is a huge incentive.
Absolutely. It strongly encourages agents to be active and receive gifts directly within those party rooms.
But there's a catch, isn't there? Something about free calls.
Right. The policy explicitly states that members of these party room agencies do not get free calls.
Ooh, okay, so that's a trade-off. You push for more gift income, potentially, but lose the free call benefit.
Exactly. It forces agencies to strategize. Are you building based on gifting culture in rooms, or are individual calls more central to your model? You probably can't maximize both in the same way.
That makes sense. It's not just a bonus, it's a strategic choice.
Definitely.
Okay, what other extra rewards are mentioned? Something about games.
Yes, game profit sharing in party rooms.
How does that work?
So, when people play games in the party room and spend coins, like betting, a certain percentage of the valid bet coins for the whole week gets kicked back to the owner of that room.
The room owner, so the agent running the room.
Presumably, yes, the agent who owns and operates that specific party room. The policy just says N%, some percentage.
So if you run a really popular room with lots of game activity, you could get another income stream just from that.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
It rewards creating an engaging space where people don't just chat and gift, but also play the integrated games.
Interesting. So potentially higher direct gift commissions and a cut of game profits for these party room folks.
Yeah, it stacks up if they can make the room popular.
And finally, it mentions agency rank reward. What's that about?
Well, it doesn't give the specifics here, but it points back to that same Google sheet, the one with the commission rates.
Okay.
Which strongly suggests that, as your agency performs better, maybe based on that valid income we talked about, or number of hosts or rank, whatever criteria they use, you hit different ranks.
And those ranks unlock more stuff.
That's the implication. Extra bonuses, maybe even better commission rates overall, perhaps special features. We need to check the sheet for the details, but it's clearly another lever for rewarding growth and high performance.
Right. So another thing for agencies to aim for.
Exactly.
Okay, let's try and pull this all together then. We've covered the basic commission calculation, host income times the rate.
With the rate details in that sheet.
Then the whole sub-agency system, where the commission depends crucially on the difference in rates between you and the agencies you invite.
Right, that's a key strategic element.
And then these special advantages for party room agencies, the potential for that higher share on at least direct agent gifts.
And the game profit sharing.
But with the trade-off of no free calls for their members.
Don't forget that trade-off, yeah.
And finally, these rank rewards, presumably detail elsewhere, adding another layer of incentive.
It paints a picture of a system that, well, tries to reward different kinds of success, managing hosts well, building a network effectively, and creating those really engaging party room hubs.
It definitely seems multifaceted.
That's not just one single path.
So that leads to maybe a final thought for people listening. Given all these pieces, the basic rates, the sub-agency structure, the party room perks and trade-offs, the rank system, how do you think all these things might, interact? How would they shape the way agencies actually grow and operate on BoloUp?
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It seems like you could build a successful agency focusing on very different things, maybe high-volume recruitment versus focusing on really active party rooms.
Absolutely. Or trying to climb those ranks for potentially better baseline rewards. Understanding how those pieces fit together and which strategy suits you or your agency. That seems critical for anyone serious about building on this platform.
Definitely something to chew on.
For sure.
Well, that feels like a pretty thorough exploration for today. Just a reminder, do check out those links in the description if you want the nitty-gritty on the commission rates and those rank rewards.
Yeah, the details matter there.
Thanks for walking us through all that.
My pleasure. Always interesting to unpack these systems.
And thanks to all of you for joining us on The Deep Dive.